Welcome to the Health Angle Podcast with Dr. Mike Headlee and Dr. Gordon Fimreite, where we'll be exploring different angles of health to achieve the best version of yourself. Now, here's your hosts, Dr. Mike and Dr. Gordon.
Welcome, everybody. I am Dr. Mike Headlee, and with me is Dr. Gordon Fimreite. Welcome, Dr. Gordy.
Hi, Mike. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Health Angle this week. We got kind of a good episode because Dr. Mike, both you and I, we've had a lot of people with chronic pain. And by the way, today's episode, it's natural solutions for pain management, safe and effective alternatives. And this is a big deal because there's so many people struggling. They don't want to take the drugs or the medication because there's side effects. And then you look at the addiction factor. For example, opioids like fentanyl, that's killing like 8,500 people per month in the United States. So that's a big deal. So people are looking for holistic, natural ways of remedying this. And, you know, some people say, well, what kind of pain do you have? Well, there's different type of pain syndromes. There can be a neurological type of pain, inflammatory type of pain, psychogenic type of pain, chronic pain syndromes, a hormonally driven pain, post-surgical pain, and then trauma and emotional pain as well. So there's a whole lot of things. So welcome to the Health Angle Podcast.
Gordy, I've been a chiropractor 30 years, and the majority of people that come in to see me have musculoskeletal pain, headache, neck ache, backache, sciatica, disc problems. However, more and more people come in with dizziness, vertigo, digestive issues, colic for kids, ear infections, other things too. But a lot of people have pain today, and I've seen it for 30 years. And I'm excited to talk about that. And then after you start us off a little bit more, I'm going to talk about just recently, Friday in my office, I lifted someone twice the size as myself, and I'm a fairly big guy. And my back just like seized up, and I felt like a burning in my lower back, and I couldn't straighten up. So I will describe how 4 days after that, I was like standing tall and great, and I'm probably 99% today. And I'll describe what I used and some other things.
I'm looking forward to that, Mike. So I'm going to go through 9 points, and under each point, I'll talk just a little bit. Of course, you and I are passionate about chiropractic care. That's on the first of my list. We've all had accidents and injuries and slip and falls, and it doesn't matter if it was 5 years ago, 10 years, or 15 or more. A lot of times when you have those subtle injuries over time, that can have an effect on your mechanics, which can ultimately also affect the neurological components. Of course, people aren't stuck in front of computers with forward head posture or poor posture, and that can be a big issue and a lot of sources of pain for a lot of people. And of course, with the chiropractic, we can really look at the mechanics and get into the specifics, get motion and mobility restored, break up adhesions and old injuries that have just been really dormant for a long time. With that, a lot of chiropractors will have shockwave. We had a special episode on shockwave, Dr. Mike, and you shared all about your experience, and you've had a lot of high success rate by using this new technology, relatively new. And then, of course, other offices will use laser therapy, light therapy, cryotherapy, as well as thermal types of therapy.
You know, my experience on a Friday, now it's less than a week later, Friday, I grunted out the day working on people bent over and stuff. This happened Friday morning early. And so fortunately, the chiropractor that works on me and we trade is retired. But so I made it through the day, and I just, what I did on myself, I did shockwave on my hips and my back because I can do that myself. I used my PEMF, pulsed electromagnetic frequency mat. I laid on that before work and at lunch and then after work. And then made it through the day, and I just came home and rested and did put some topical stuff on that I'll share in a minute. And then Saturday, I did see the chiropractor, Dr. Larry, who worked on me. He was gracious enough to come in on Saturday, and he wanted to get worked on. But after I got worked on, I felt okay, but I didn't feel good enough to work on him. And so on Monday he came in and worked on me again. So I got a couple adjustments and two adjustments in 3 days. And then I felt good enough to work on him on Monday. And by Tuesday afternoon, I felt 80% Wednesday, 90% today, Thursday, less than a week later, 99%. So absolutely chiropractic, my first choice, first phone call, phone a friend, Dr. Larry, when he's in town, works on me in my office, and that's my go-to. If I could do nothing else, I would just have my spine adjusted. But then fortunately I have stem wave that is
Yeah.
acoustic shock therapy, and then I do PMF, and then I used my sauna too. I used heat because it wasn't traumatic, Dr. Gordy. And sometimes people put ice on it, and I'm not against ice to shrink the inflammation and to help discs and muscles. But I sat in my sauna at 170 degrees for a half hour, and it has far infrared, near infrared, and then red light. So those were the bigger modalities besides the topicals that I use. That I'll share those in a minute.
That's only 1 week, and you're doing pretty much back to normal.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
my question is just a hypothetical. How many people might have a pain syndrome, but they let it go, and then a month goes by, they let it go, maybe it'll get better, and they let it go. Pretty soon it becomes a chronic problem. And look at you, less than a week, and you're already 100%. So I have a list. Chiropractic was my number one. Number two is herbal remedies. If you're on medications under the advice of your medical doctor, please consult with them before diving into herbs, as there can be interaction with drugs. So with that said, the first one on my list is turmeric and curcumin. Now I take this every day. It's in my smoothie, but I also take a separate supplement because I think it's that important. It has a powerful anti-inflammatory effect as well as antioxidant effects. So it really helps joints in your body, joint pain and arthritis in particular. And then you have ginger. This is also a really good anti-inflammatory substance. It helps with muscle pain, also other types of discomfort in your body. And then you have willow bark. Now, willow bark, this herb, it's basically nature's aspirin, except it's all natural. It's an herb, and this has been used for centuries. It's been known for a long, long time. Arnica, this is another herb, and this is all natural. You use it for bruising or sprains or even muscle soreness. If you don't know a lot about herbs, that there is people that specialize in. You go to chiropractors, make sure you call, make sure that they're specialized in their herb list. I personally go to a Chinese medicine doctor who specializes in herbs. Her father had specialized in herb, and her grandfather had basically worked in the mountains of China picking herbs. So I go to her, and she's got just so much wisdom. And I'll do like a kind of I call it a detox, and I'll get my herbs, and I try to do it like maybe every quarter. There's other people that specialize in herbs, naturopathic doctors. So those are just some sources. How about you, Mike? What's your experience with herbs, and what else do you have to add?
I failed to mention when I get adjusted, the first thing I say, how do I get my body in alignment? How do I get my nervous system functioning right and get things unpinched, get things flowing, get the nerves flowing, the lymph, the circulation. So chiropractic first. And I've been doing this for so long, it's never crossed my mind to go to the medicine cabinet because I don't have one. And I'm not bragging, and people know me that like I'm not the healthiest person on the planet, but I haven't taken a drug in 25 years. I don't have Tylenol and Aleve and ibuprofen and all that. So I didn't take any drugs. Would I possibly, if I had a handful of opiates, I might have even taken something because I was in that much pain. But it never crosses my mind because it's not in my possession. So I do topicals and I do herbs. I've been using oils for a while, ginger oil, like you mentioned. So I'll use ginger. Rosemary is an herb. That's an oil that I use. Peppermint. I like peppermint actually for the cooling. And actually lavender is a pain herb and an oil too. And then I use a product called Formula 303. I don't have it with me at my house. It's just in my office. So I took three of those morning, noon, and night. The only time I take CBD is when I'm not feeling well. I took 100 milligrams morning and night, and that helps to relax things and helps with inflammation. So, Formula 303, I know a lot of chiropractors that handle that. It's a natural homeopathic muscle relaxer. It has arnica in it, like you mentioned, magnesium, valerian root, and some other herbs, and then CBD. So that's just what I go to:
Mhm.
topicals, herbs,
That's
Formula
great.
303, herbal remedies and stuff. I just don't take drugs.
I have the essential oils topical application. You rub it into the muscle, really simple. Lavender, peppermint, eucalyptus, and rosemary oil. So great for pain relief. A lot of people might have headaches and muscle aches, joint pain. So these are good topicals to use. I mean, if you have a headache, don't put it on your hair and rub it in your hair. In reference to headaches, you just put it basically on the back of the neck, upper neck in particular. And the other thing is capsaicin. That's another. It's derived from chili peppers, and it's often found in creams and ointments. So that's another source to help take that edge off, reduce the pain signals in the body. So that's another source. CBD oil and creams. Again, rub it on the muscles, great for arthritis and other type of pain. So the next thing that I have on my list is actually dietary solutions. And anti-inflammatory foods, natural foods that come from earth. So focus on natural foods that reduce inflammation. These might be rich in omega-3s, for example, like healthy organic fish sources. You could get flaxseed as well, berries, leafy greens, etc., etc. The next thing on the dietary solution is look for magnesium-rich type of foods. Magnesium is great for muscle cramps or even if people who have like fibromyalgia. Get something with this magnesium. We had a episode on magnesium a couple of episodes ago. I'd recommend going back because I thought it was that powerful. So if somebody has just general aches, again, magnesium-rich foods, and these might include spinach, almonds, and avocados. So look for those. Again, consult with a nutritionist if you're having troubles getting this kind of together or a chiropractor who specializes in consumption of foods and nutrients and supplements, et cetera, et cetera. So, so how about you, Mike? Any comments in that section?
I have a couple topicals that I'll share with you from the last, but I fasted on Monday, the Monday after I hurt my back on Friday. And so when you fast, there's no food going in, so the body can work on those inflammatory injured areas and help clean up the debris. So I'm with you too. I took my Calm magnesium supplement, took made a green smoothie, and then I took some extra green powders in the evening, and no sugar. Sugar creates inflammation, and I didn't want extra inflammation because I felt my back and my discs and my facets were inflamed. So, yeah, right with you. Whole foods, a lot of
Great.
hydration, and greens and green smoothies like we had many times. We referenced your green smoothie recipe. So yeah, that
Great
works.
stuff. The next one is body mind practices. So, meditation, Mike, you've talked about meditation quite a bit in past episodes. And if somebody is just like, oh, how do I meditate? I just don't know how. Well, you could go to like YouTube or Rumble and type in guided meditation, and you'll get a whole bunch of free applications where you can actually use that technology. A lot to be said about it. And as well as mindfulness. Studies have shown that there's a technique, it's abbreviated MBSR, that's mindfulness based stress reduction. And this can really significantly reduce chronic pain if you use it properly. And a lot of people, when you're under pain, you don't think of the stuff that we're sharing. Your mindset is like, God, I'm in pain. I don't feel like doing anything. The last thing you feel like doing is just putting your mind on it even more by trying to look for solutions. So a lot of times people don't look at some of these alternatives that might not seem like they might help, but they actually really do.
Yeah, back in my younger days, I'd kind of probably get more angry and mad because, gosh, this is hard to work when I have back pain and I can't straighten up, and people are coming in to see me, and I'm the one with the pain. I used to get angry and mad. I go, geez. I don't have the fanciest lifestyle, but it's putting a crimp in my exercise, or it's putting a crimp in me going to the basketball game or whatever I want to do. And I don't want to just lay on the couch and do nothing. And I just used to get mad. And now I go, huh, wonder why this is happening. I wonder what I was thinking at the time. Wonder what my mindset was. Was I rushed? What was I judging this person that was twice as big as me instead of serving them with love and gratitude? And so I go, oh, I'm not angry. I took full ownership of this. Still called a chiropractor, still put on some remedies and did some heat and did some things. But I just breathed and relaxed and I didn't watch any news and I just listened to music and meditated while I was in the sauna and I just felt at ease. And then I slept really good. I wasn't very straight when I woke up the first couple days, but I just embraced my healing journey and it didn't last very long, fortunately, instead of just being angry and mad and just fight it with drugs and just, I was patient. And if I usually can get through 2 or 3 days, then I'm close
Yeah.
to 100. And so it worked.
Yeah, I think the key is keeping your poise, knowing that there's solutions and going forward with doing something at least. The next on my list is yoga and stretching. There's different yoga poses, and this has been shown to release chronic pain, both in the back joints as well as the neck, and even improving migraines, improving flexibility, reducing stress. Look up different poses and even stretches, like a lot of people in front of their computer with forward head posturing. Not good. You can go online and type in solutions for my forward head posture, and you'll get a whole bunch of really good exercises. Really teach your neuromuscle skeletal system to kind of retrain from that forward head posturing. There's also Tai Chi, and you've done this before too, Mike, Qigong. So why don't you just take these two over and tell us a little bit about your experiences with these?
The one I'm most familiar with, I took some community ed classes for Tai Chi Cha. It's 19 poses that you do standing up. Tai Chi is 120 or 150 different poses or movements. It's like yoga. It's extensive. I like Tai Chi Cha because it's 19 impactful movements you can do in 15 to 20 minutes, roughly 20 minutes. Standing, it's flowing, it's moving, it's breathing, it's relaxing, and it's really positive for the spine and the nervous system. And most people can do, I would say, my back was bad and I couldn't hardly stand up. And I can do that kind of stuff because it's not bend over and touch your hands flat on the floor and hold it and, try to do the splits and it's flowing and doing it to when I took the class, there was, I'm in my 50s and there was people in their 70s and there was 30-year-olds. So it's for all ages, all athletic abilities. I call it yoga light, Dr. Gordy, because Tai Chi it's a little bit easier than intermediate to advanced yoga. Oh, it's all good. It's all good and spine friendly. And it's all about keeping the nervous system flowing, the blood flowing, your breath flowing, breathing, not holding and straining. And I'm just a huge fan of Tai Chi or Tai Chi Cha.
Studies are showing that these practices really can reduce pain and improve balance, which I think go hand in hand. Mechanics and balance, these things can have a huge impact on how your body deals with pain syndromes. The next one on my list is acupressure and acupuncture. And again, this has been around for centuries, a long time. People have had a lot of good success with pain relief, including migraines, back pain, and even fibromyalgia.
I have a mat and a pillow. I call it the bed of nails because it has pressure points that you would put under your neck, and then I have the mat to lay on, and that hits all the acupressure points, and it's very relaxing, improving circulation. It's kind of difficult to lay on the first couple times because it really pokes through your skin. It doesn't make you bleed or anything like needles. but acupressure, and so I use this to lay in bed or use this under my neck. And then tapping, there's 10 points that you stimulate with acupressure. And so, for instance, you could say, even though I'm feeling really severe back pain, and then you hit the points, I choose to feel pain-free. I choose to feel relaxed. I choose to feel at peace. Even though I have very severe back pain, I'm choosing to relax and think positive and help my body heal and repair. And these are emergency acupressure points. And when you stimulate them 2 or 3 rounds, I'm doing it underneath my armpits and then on my wrist. I mean, it literally takes a minute or two. And then I could, on a scale of 0 to 10, if my back pain was an 8, I do it 2 or 3 times. And geez, I can move better. I'm more relaxed. And now it's a 4 or 5. Well, do I either quit or do I want to do a few more rounds to see if I can get it down to a 1 or 2 or 3? And it's called emotional freedom technique or tapping. YouTube University has this all over. If I had to start from scratch with severe back pain like I had, and I went to the chiropractor and I did all this, I would type in EFT or tapping for lower back pain, and it'll take you through a 4 to 5 minute video. And it's really, really, it's bizarre how it works, but it works.
That's great. Next thing on my list are lifestyle changes. So I think everybody should be exercising. Regular movement helps reduce pain, get your lymphatic flowing, get your blood flowing, and this can just help nothing but overall health, but specifically people with arthritis or pain symptoms like in the back or neck. This really does help. If somebody can't exercise because they're symptomatic, like you were, Mike, or somebody who just has this chronic thing, it's hard for them to get going. Do some low impact, something like walking or swimming or even cycling or recumbent biking as well. So those are just a couple of things that people can do. Any comments to this section?
I'm a huge fan of just trying to keep the body in motion at whatever is comfortable. I used a diamond willow walking stick for a few days. Why? Because I could use it and keep moving and not have pain. So see if this makes sense to you, Dr. Gray. I'm kind of curious if it makes sense to you. So if I got adjusted, I did my PEMF, I did my shockwave, I did my things, put some topicals on, take some CBD, and I'm doing good. And if I can stay upright and in good posture with my diamond willow walking stick and not feeling any pain, my mind says I'm healing, I'm repairing. Or if I'm limping around and bent over and I'm getting jabs in my back, I don't feel like I'm healing 100% all the time. So I'm not strapping up with band-aids and back braces, and I'm not against some of that stuff. But I wanted to do whatever I could to keep my body moving or exercising upright in good alignment, because then I know I'll heal faster. I mean, does that make sense, or is that just me?
No, it makes sense because if you put somebody on a bilateral scale and you're upright in your normal posture, but you can't quite do it because the muscles are spasming or you have inflammation, but you have a guided like what you use to help you up, you're in your natural weight balance center. Now, if you're stooped over, more than likely you're stooping over antalgic to one side or the other, which is going to put more load. If you put you on a bilateral scale, you're going to be putting more weight load on one side. And if you have more weight load on one side, guess what? Muscles are going to react. The inflammatory response is going to kick in, and as well as like these neurological. Your body tells you you got nerve pain for a reason. It's telling you something's wrong. You got to listen to that. So actually, people always say, "Oh gosh, I hate pain." I love pain because it might come. It tells me that something's wrong and I got to do something about it. So I find a solution, and then boom, the pain goes on. I'll go, oh, no more pain, no more of my body telling me that something's wrong. That's kind of my comment to that section.
Yeah, that makes sense to me,
It's
and
okay.
that's kind of my philosophy as well. I mean, I don't want to have pain the rest of the night, but if I have it, I got to figure it out. I got to solve it. I got to help my body heal it. And if I'm doing natural things, in chiropractic and these topical things, and one other thing, a couple other things I'll mention, then I go, oh, I'm not numbing my body. I'm not drugging my body. I'm just helping my body heal and repair, and I'm not feeling the pain, so I'm healing. And if I keep that long enough, I'll be 100%.
Yeah. So I've already talked about posture and ergonomics, and I think these are hidden problems where it sneaks up on people over time, whether it's how you work at your work environment or some of the hobbies you're doing. It's hard to pinpoint sometimes for some people where it's coming from. Of course, consult with a chiropractor, consult with a professional. But I also think that a lot of these pain syndromes can come from mental thoughts, stress factors, or some psychological thing that's happening kind of in the background. And so I think for a lot of people, there's a lot of exploration. If there was like just one solution to a problem, that would be great. But the reality is there's multiple things that are probably going on concurrently that can be addressed by doing some of the things that we have already talked about. So I think it's critically important that even if there's something in the list that we've already talked about that you're thinking, I don't think that's going to work, I would say try it. Just try it. So that's kind of my conclusion here, Dr. Mike. Anything to add?
Yeah, I believe our body speaks our mind. So when our mind is busy and stressed and overworked, like I didn't physically traumatize my back. I didn't fall down. I mean, I lifted someone that was heavy, but I didn't have massive trauma to my body. But my mind wasn't as clear and focused and centered as I should have been. And so sometimes I feel like that's a reminder, like, okay, learn your lesson and be present and grateful and loving and giving and serving and focus on the person at hand, how to help their body heal and repair and function better. And not just be stuck in my head or worried about something else or whatever and eliminate the stress. That's why I meditate in my office before I see people, and I pray, and I do things at my lunch hour, and I reset before each shift, and just to prepare my mind so then my body will follow. A couple other things I wrote down. I forgot to mention, Dr. Gordy. I have something called Fisher Traction in my office. It's a home traction device that you hook up to the door and you lay on your back and put pillows under your knees. And I did that a couple times too. It gave me relief by doing home traction. I have a vibration device too to help my circulation and to help the inflammation and the discs and the facets and things. So I used my vibration platform. And then just a couple other topicals. My latest, greatest favorite new topical is something called DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide. This is just pure liquid DMSO. You can get topicals with CBD mixed in because DMSO is a solvent that penetrates deep into the body. If you look it up on one of my favorite doctors' websites, Mercola.com, it will say it helps failed back surgeries. It helps chronic pain like fibromyalgia and disc issues and degeneration. So it helps pain and inflammation, helps circulation. So DMSO, I don't sell it in my office right now, but I get it at dmsostore.com. It is pharmaceutical grade. So I love that. I like getting samples from a lot of different sources to try because I have some joints and muscles that I know if it's going to work, it should help me. Stop Pain Clinical is actually one of my favorite gels for muscle recovery. Last time when we talked about mushrooms, Dr. Gordy, I talked about Myco Clinic pain relief ointment. It has mushrooms in it, 6 different mushrooms in it. I've heard about this for years and years and years, and within the last year, I just decided to try Tiger Balm. And I actually like Tiger Balm. One of my new favorite ones though too. I got a sample from this company, and if you haven't tried this, Dr. Gordy, you can send for a free sample. Mag 5 PT. They only sell it in chiropractors and PT offices. It has menthol, 5 types of magnesium that you mentioned earlier is good for pain or muscle relaxation. Has CBD, hemp seed, Tibetan sea berry for inflammation, multiple essential oils, and arnica. So it is chock full, and chiropractors can get a free sample of that to see if they want to have that in their office or use for personal use. So those are some of my other topicals. I said I don't have any drugs or any medicine cabinet, but I obviously have some other cabinets full
Natural,
of stuff.
holistic,
And
holistic and natural.
yeah, so
Perfect.
I feel like if that helps my body relieve pain and suffering, and it's not masking, you know, neurotransmitters and nerve impulses and stuff, it's helping pain and inflammation and circulation and helps me move better, well, then I'm going to feel better. And then just a couple other oddball things. Cupping. What's your experience with cupping, Dr. Gordy?
We have our own cupping, so I do that. And I've had episodes. I work out regularly and stress my body when I'm going through the gym. And so, yeah, I've had flare-ups, and I've had a lot of good success with cupping. I'm a fan of cupping. Absolutely.
Yeah, so cupping, red light therapy, you mentioned that earlier. Pulsed electromagnetic frequency devices. I'm a huge, huge fan because it really recharges our cells so they can heal and repair. And then meditation, there's a lot of meditation devices and apps and other things if you need assistance. And I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of other tech out there that, I mean, we didn't talk about TENS units and some of the other electronic stuff, but gosh, I say start with the basics, right? A healthy lifestyle, like you said, movement, proper diet. You know, people say, "Oh, I put on this cream on my shoulder, it didn't help me." Well, if you aren't eating well and drinking well and thinking well and sleeping well and all those things, I don't think a topical is just going to act like an opioid and knock the pain out. We need to think holistically, check your spine and nervous system, and then do the lifestyle stuff and the whole list of what Dr. Gordy mentioned, and I think you'll have a lot better result.
Couldn't agree more, Dr. Mike. Hey, by the way, audience, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Please follow us and share our material as well, and hit that notification bell. So, Mike, close us out.
All right. I like to ask our listening audience and viewing audience, what's your number one takeaway from our show that you can talk with a colleague tomorrow about pain? What did you learn or relearn, or you want to research and ask a colleague at work tomorrow? Hey, what do you think? Do you use any topicals after you play racquetball or pickleball or go to the gym? What do you do when you have pain? Do you take Aleve or ibuprofen? Or these chiropractors, they don't take a lot of drugs. They talked about cupping. Well, have you ever heard of cupping? Do you get a massage? Do you do acupuncture, reflexology? So just have a conversation about pain with your colleagues. And then what's your number one action step that you can take tonight to do more research, to take more action? Are you going to stretch? You're going to look up Tai Chi. You can go on YouTube and type in Tai Chi or Tai Chi Cha. And the first couple videos that show up are 15-minute videos that are really easy to follow and really fun to do. Standing upright, help your movement, help your breathing, help your relaxation. You're going to do some yoga. You're going to do some meditation, or you're going to really change your diet. Get up earlier tomorrow so you can make a smoothie and take some magnesium and greens. What's your number one action step from what we talked about?
Mike, thanks again. Great episode. Thanks for joining us here on the Health Angle podcast, and we'll see you all next week.
Thank you for joining us on the Health Angle podcast. Please subscribe to our channel and catch us for our next episode.